June, everybody. June, that means it's the poker high season. Before we jump into today's action, and in the poker high season regard, I need to tell you guys about something that happened. I final tabled a tournament. $600 buy-in, $200 bounties, pot limit Omaha over at the Venetian. This happened 2 days ago. Your boy here made his first final table in a pot limit Omaha event. I tried to record a little bit once I made it down to the final table. That got shot down in about 15 seconds or so. Final table back here. 8 of us left, pot limit Omaha. Here's a look at the prizes. $600 buy-in, $600 buy-in, $200 bounties, little tournament, just a little one. But yeah, super stoked to finally make a final table after putting in a decent amount of work playing the 4-card game. It was a super fun run, made $1,000 in bounties, knocked out 5 people, $1,000 in bounties, finished in 3rd place for $6,025. So $600 buy-in, cash out for a total of $7,025. You guys do the math, but yeah, not exactly super life-changing money, but very happy to have made it to the final table in a PLO event. Going to be playing a lot more PLO tournaments during the summertime of 2022. Poker Festival is very much underway in Las Vegas. That comes later. Today is meetup game action here at the Hustler Casino, where they will not be shutting me down after 15 seconds of filming. Very much embracing all of the cameras and vlogging that there is to do here at a meetup game at the Hustler Casino. I'm gonna jump into the 5-5 no limit mix. It's 1,000 max buy-in. I'll be in for $1,000. Let's play some poker with some friendly vlog watching people. Try and run it up a little bit. Try and play some bomb pots. Have the occasional beverage. All the usual fun stuff. Action underway here in the 5-5 no limit, table number 1, looking down at ace-8 of diamonds, make it $20 to go from early position. Player in the cutoff makes the call, heads up to a flop. It comes down 8 high, 8-5 deuce rainbow. I'll be a c-bet spot here with top pair, top kicker. I make it $20 to go, and my opponent makes the call. Turn is a 10, which is not exactly my most favorite of all cards. Complete straight draws, maybe some overcard holdings. I check it. My opponent bets to the tune of $50. Don't want to just give it up though, even though I have a pretty bad feeling about this kind of a spot. Don't want to just give it up with top pair, top kicker on the flop. Could still improve versus some hands, and could still have the best hand occasionally, but not loving it. I'm going to make the call here. Probably find a fold if there's some further action if we don't improve on the river, but we do in fact improve on the river on an offsuit ace.
I got my new, I got my new chain on, you know what I'm saying? It's ain't nothing better than gold, but I don't know, man. Maybe the Neeme BO. It's hanging, but it's holding.
What was your name again?
Dexter again.
Dexter. Right on, man.
That's something right there.
Nobody messing with this Neeme.
No, definitely not. All right, but we do in fact improve on an offsuit ace on the river. Gonna stay in flow here though. Could still be losing to a straight or a slow played set, so I check it. Opponent checks back. We have the winner here. When action goes check, check on the river. Flip the cards over, and he has King 10. So he gets there on the turn, but we get there on the river. All right, next hand, action folds around to the button, who opens for $25. We have Queen 10 offsuit in the small blind. Little marginal being out of position, but it's a meetup game. So I make the call, and the big blind calls as well. 3 ways to flop of Jack 9-9. Check over to the button, who does not see bet. Action checks through. Turn is a 6 of spades, 2nd spade on board. I'm going to lead out here with my open-ended straight draw. Nobody's showing interest so far. So I bet $45. Big blind folds, and the player on the button makes the call. So looking for some help here. River's a deuce of spades, completing the backdoor flush draw. We have queen high here, so that's probably not going to win a showdown. I'm going to try and stab at it, even though I don't have a spade. Checking, we're always going to lose. Betting, maybe we win sometimes, but we lose additional money some other times. So, not exactly sure of the expected value of this wager, but I'm going to make it anyway. I fire $110, and my opponent does not fold. He grabs raising chips and makes it $300 or so. So we're gonna kick this one into the muck, light that money on fire, moving along. In this hand, the hijack opens for 20, and we look down at pocket 8s in the small blinds. I usually like to play a 3-better fold strategy out of the small blind, being out of position, especially in a raked game. I did not do that last hand, so I'm going to try and make up for it in this hand by 3-betting up to 80 bucks. Big blind gets out of the way, and the initial raiser calls. So heads up to a flop. Queen 6-5 rainbow, just the 1 overcard, not the worst of all flops that could potentially come down. So I'm going to c-bet it. I fire $65, I believe. My opponent is undeterred. He makes the call. Turn is an ace. Not a bad card for our range, but not the best card for our hands. Our opponent could be floating with some ace-high hands. So we could either triple barrel this, I think, or just check it and try to get to showdown here. I decided on the latter. I check it, my opponent checks back. River is another ace, so now I think it's probably out of the question to start repping an ace-type hand. Could maybe put in a blocker bet, or we could check. I decided to check it, and my opponent checks back pretty quickly, and unfortunately we lose to pocket 9s here. So we get pipped. Pocket 9s are good, pocket 8s no good. One last hand, under the gun puts in the open limp. We look down at ace king suited on the button, make it $25 to go, and that limper makes the call. 8-5 deuce rainbow. He checks it over to me. I think he's probably going to continue pretty wide here. I have some showdown value, so I just check it back. Turn is the queen of hearts. This time he leads out for 30 bucks. I don't want to give it up. 2 overcards. Could have the best hand here sometimes, so I make the call. River's a 10 of hearts, completing the backdoor flush draw once again. He checks it over to me. Now I'm not so sure how often ace high is going to win here. Again, I don't have a heart in my hand, but I think I want to try and muscle this one through. I put out a bet of $115, and he thinks for a little bit and folds it. So that one's a good result. Moving on to table 2 now, down a little bit, down like 150 bucks maybe slightly more. Gonna try and mess some people up here on table 2. All right, action continues here on the second table with me playing my D+ game, I would say. Calling open with the 3-2 suited in middle position. I think we go 6 ways to the flop after a $20 open. And we flop ourselves a flush draw. 9-9-6 with 2 spades on the flop. The initial raiser c-bet's very small. It bets $30 here. We got ourselves a 3 high. Facing a c-bet of that size versus a player who had been playing mostly straightforward and mostly snug. Maybe try and find a bluff spot here. So I raise it up to $80, looking to turn this into a multi-street bluff if necessary. Usually my opponent, I think, is going to have a 1-pair type hand here. Might run into a 9 somewhere along the way, but let's find out and see what happens. I make it $80 to go, and it folds all the way back to the initial raiser, who makes the call. Turn comes an offsuit queen, and now my opponent leads into me again for $125 here. Not really looking to blast off now after he shows continued interest in the pot. Could have queens full. I guess he could have a 9 some percentage of the time as well. We've got the 3 high flush draw, and I just decided to let it go here on a paired board. I fold, and my opponent shows us the Jack 10 offsuit for what I guess is a bluff, but he does have the best hand there with the Jack high. So pat myself on the back for making an excellent laydown with a 3 high. But you know, just trying to navigate the meetup game fields out here. No luck so far. Not doing myself any favors by playing the 3-2 suited, of course. Again, my D+ game in full effect at this point. Same table here. I open up the pocket 9s, stepping up my game, playing solid, playing a good hand here. Raise it up to 20 bucks. Player on my direct left makes the call, and the player on his direct left 3-bets up to $80. Pocket 9s looks like an amazing hand considering some of the other hands I've been playing, so I'm going to make the call. And the player on my left folds. So heads up to a flop, which comes down not very favorable for the 9s. It comes down ace 10-3. I check. My opponent starts assembling a bet somewhere around $60, $65, I believe. I make a very fast fold, and he slides his cards over to me and shows me the pocket 10s. So not only does he have us pipped pre-flop, also has us essentially drawing dead on the flop. Moving it on over to the next table, there is a reasonable amount of action happening on this one. In this hand, there is a double straddle on, and action folds over to the small blind, who raises it up to 60 bucks. We got ourselves ace jack of diamonds on his direct left in the first straddle. Could 3-bet, could flat. I'm going to go ahead and flat here. Don't want to face a 4-bet and have to fold away a hand as pretty as ace jack, so I make the call, and the double straddler makes the call as well. So 3 ways to a flop this time, which comes down Favorable, finally, Jack 7 with 2 hearts. Unfortunately, we don't see a C bet though, so action checks over to me, and I'm gonna bet small here. I bet 60 bucks. Player on my left thinks for a little bit and folds. Player on my right thinks for not really all that long, and he also folds. So sadness there. We win a little bit back, but we are firmly residing in Stuffville at this point. Just making my way over to the next table, maybe try and rein it in a little bit here, but so far throwing a little bit of a party here at the meetup game at the Hustler.
How's it going over here, Brad? Going great. And by great, I mean we're losing $1,300.
2 professional signed poker ambassadors.
That's right.
You're doing great, buddy.
All right, new table now. Just as I'm arriving at this table, I put the straddle on, and there's 2 limpers before we look down at our 2 cards, which just happen to be pocket aces. Made a stop at the big pair store, find the 2 aces, bring them on over here to the Hustler, and we make it $40 to go. The 2 limpers make the call, so 3 ways to a flop, which comes down 8-3 deuce with 2 clubs. First player checks, I bet $75. The player on the button thinks for a bit and makes the call, and the other player folds. So heads up, 2 a turn card, 5 of diamonds, which puts a second flush draw on the board. Board is pretty connected, but we're not super deep here, so I think there's some spots where I might slow down here and try and pot control a little bit on a board that probably favors a limp caller more than a pre-flop raiser. But since we're not super deep, I think I have maybe 600, maybe a little less in my stack at this point. I'm just gonna barrel and go with it. If we happen to be beat here, it's just gonna be one of those shrug and move on with life kind of a situations. So I bet $200 here, probably planning to call it off if he shoves all in. But it doesn't come to that. My opponent thinks for a bit and folds. Show down the aces here on friendly table and scoop a rare pot for myself today. Same table now, and there's an early position raised to $15. Player in the cutoff makes the call. We look down at Jack 5 of diamonds in the small blind. Obviously not a super premium here, but for only a 3x raise, again, the small blind is $5, so getting a reasonable price here with a suited hand. I make the call, and the big blind calls as well. 4 ways to a flop, which comes down Jack high, Jack 8 deuce with 2 spades. I check it, big blind checks, the initial raiser checks, and the cutoff puts out a bet of $30. Obviously not in love with our hand, but can't fold top pair, so I make the call, and the other 2 players get out of the way. Turn is an offsuit 6. I check, and this time that player checks it back. River's an offsuit 3. Could check it and hope to get the showdown here, or maybe put out a small blocker bet. I decide with the latter. I decide to make a bet of $25, hoping to maybe squeeze out value from a flop second pair and hopefully not face a raise. But that is in fact what happens. We do face a raise. He raises it up $100 more. Really don't like it when a player adds it for that smooth $100 extra. But with my exact holding here, trying to work this one out in my head, doesn't seem like a rivered 2 pair is all that likely. And it doesn't seem like he should be all that strong having check back on the turn. Not having any spades in my hand, we unblock some draws that might have missed here and is sort of forced into trying to find a way to win this pot. Definitely could be maybe a little bit optimistic here, but after putting the block bet and then facing that raise and trying to find a hand that makes sense, I'm not really finding one. So I shrug, I toss in the $100 extra. Gonna have to complete the story here, show us the goods, and my opponent does not show us the goods. He says queen high. I could be queen high. Perhaps a loose call there, perhaps a loose bet call on the river, but we take this one down with the weak top pair. All right, one more hand here is an early position raised to $15. There's a couple callers, and we look down at pocket 10s in the blinds. I'm gonna call here. We could squeeze, but with that early position raise, definitely don't want to face a 4-bet with this hand. Gonna be some pretty tough spots. Could go either way, honestly, but I decided with a flat call, which seems fine. And we go multi-ways to a flop. Queen, 9, check to the initial raiser, who puts out a C-bet of $65. Folds around to me. Can't fold pocket 10s here on this board, so I go ahead and make the call. Heads up to a turn card, which is an offsuit 5. I check it, and he's not done firing. This time slides out a bet of $140. Not really loving the situation, but pocket 10s here once again. Maybe he could even be doing this with some worse hands for value, and could definitely have some bluffs, I think, mixed in here. Of course, not loving it with the initial raise coming from early position and then firing into multiple opponents on the flop. But pocket tens, maybe a little bit towards the top of our range. I'm gonna go ahead and see one more card and see what happens on the river, see what develops. I toss in the call. River comes an offsuit jack. I check it. Kind of hope this one goes to showdown, but that's not what happens. He assembles another wager, this time above $300. What do you guys do here? Pocket tens, let me know. Facing 3 streets of pressure post-flop, facing a raise from early position pre-flop, firing a C-bet into multiple opponents. Pocket tens doesn't feel great. I don't think for all that long. I decide to let the pocket tens go. I give him credit, toss the tens into the muck, and we promptly get shown the 8-7 offsuit.
Good luck. Good luck. 3 in the block.
That's what I want to do. I can't do it.
8 high. This guy. Good job.
8 high, like a ball. I try.
Got him. Got him.
Welcome to the meetup game life. Welcome to the action to be found here at Hustler Casino. An excellent wager, an excellent 3-street bluff. Gets the pocket tens to fold. Tough life here in the meetup game streets today, in the 5-5 streets at the Hustler. Not gonna work out for me today. Not going my way. A lot of very subpar play on my part, I think, and get owned here at the end of the session, and that's probably going to be a wrap for me. I think that's going to be the kiss of death, folding the tens and getting shown the 8-7 offsuit. Sorrow's drowning time. Obviously a little hyperbolic, but they did get me real good. They got me real good at this meetup game. Into the game for $1,600, cashed out $337, I think. Not a great hourly rate for myself today, and probably could do a little bit better than the performance I put on today. That's okay though, because when it's a meetup game, I'm here to hang out, splash around, drink the occasional beverage with some fun vlog watching folks that came to the game.
What would you like me to?
Introduce yourself, please.
I am Gonzalo. Friends call me Gonzo from Mexico, and I just have a blast playing with Andrew and Brad here in Hustler Casino, LA.
I didn't tell him to say that. It sounded very formal, but I didn't tell him to say all of that stuff. You flew all the way in from Guadalajara.
That is correct.
Just to play meetup games.
That is correct. I'm that much of a DJ. What can I say?
It's such a. I mean, I think you win the furthest travel award for today's meetup game. So definitely wanted to include you here in the vlog, and we're obviously super appreciative that you travel so far just to come to the meetup game. So
thanks so much, Andrew.
Wanted to get you in here. We played together in Austin. Now we played in LA. Have we played in Vegas yet?
We have not.
All right.
We have not.
I'm sure that happens soon. Maybe during the summer festivities.
Yep.
But, Cheers.
Gracias, Andrew. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the lessons.
And we had an awesome turnout. We had like 14 tables, I think, today. I saw 13 for sure. Not sure if another one opened after that, but of course, another awesome turnout here at the Hustler. And check out this photo that I snagged off of the first table that I played at. A dealer who was actually filming 2 players as they were battling in a double board Pot Limit Omaha bomb pot. Fun scene here at Hustler. You know, there's a bunch of casinos out there that don't really get the vibe of the content creation, the poker blog, the meetup game, all that fun stuff. There's definitely some casinos out there, and this is not one of them. Definitely a fun vibe here at the Hustler. So, despite getting whacked in the meetup game, always a good time out here, and revenge will be mine. I'll be back playing on the live stream on Monday, by the way. So that's really going to determine the trip. Let's be honest.